What is up, ladies and gentlemen, fellow nerds? Your friend Connor Doe here with Always Nerdy TV, giving you a live review of Avengers Infinity War. Or was it an Infinity Bore?
Avengers. I hope they remember you. No! I do hope those that survive remember everything.
Now, I definitely recommend that you re-watch Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor Ragnarok. If you haven't seen any of the movies yet, I definitely recommend re-watching those before you go see this movie. Now, that being said, there are spoilers coming up in this review, so just heads up, I warned you. So the movie actually starts off with the Thor Ragnarok group fighting Thanos and the Black Order. And unfortunately, we don't see Thanos take out Xander. We don't see Thanos take out this particular group of Asgardians. We really don't see any of that. We just flash right into the end of the battle. That, to me, is super disappointing because I would have liked to see the Black Order actually fight together as one and make it more interesting.
When I'm done, half of humanity will still exist.
I will have to say I loved everything about the Black Order except for their entrance. If they had come on to the scene just killing people, perhaps the Asgardians they showed, that would have made them on the level of Darth Vader badass, considering their ability to shoot promos and to talk. As we predicted, and a lot of people predicted, we see Thanos going around collecting these gems. Now, it was super awesome to see Thanos fight Hulk in a 1v1 fight to the finish, but it was lame because then we didn't see the Hulk anymore. It was like the producers thought that we had a Hulk overload, and because of that, the Hulk didn't want to come out. So after Thanos actually beats up the Hulk, he turns his sights to Loki and actually kills him. And typically this would be a sad death, but as an audience member, you cannot lie to yourself and say that you kind of just didn't care as much. Now, it was sad to see the little twinkle in his eye for a moment, but because of Thor Ragnarok, there's too much of a comedic tone to really sympathize with Thor, because his character's kind of become a joke, similar to Drax, and we'll talk about that a little bit later.
I feel like everything's gonna work out fine.
Now, the lovable character Heimdall inevitably teleports them back to New York City, Bruce Banner, where we get the introduction of Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Wong. So it's cool to see them all team up together and fight the Dark Order, the Black Order. So let's see what happens there. During this fight that we actually see the powers of Black Dwarf and Ebony Maw, telekinetic abilities that were super badass, and Black Dwarf's just pure strength. And the Hulk doesn't come out, and this is what I was talking about, how disappointing it was that the Hulk never comes out, and they never play on the joke that he was afraid of Thanos. I undoubtedly believed that Ebony Maw would be one of the most badass characters of the Black Order, and in his fight with Iron Man, yes, it proved it true. Ebony Maw is bar none the best villain side character in this story, in my opinion at least. He's crazy. His telekinetic abilities, his ability to lift to the ground up and capture people, very cool. Loved his fights, all of them. So Doctor Strange and Iron Man end up losing, and Spider-Man shows up, which is cool. I loved that. But then Ebony Maw ends up taking Doctor Strange and the Time Gem, and we get a cool story of Spider-Man in space. Now, I will say this, comic books they reach far out. So having Spider-Man in space, and it makes sense, 2 thumbs up for that. You get a plus in my book from me, Marvel, for doing that. Because if you can get Spider-Man and Iron Man in space and not have it be tacky or tangy, great job. Because that's hard to translate in a cinematic universe, I bet. What I disliked was Spider-Man's reliance on pop culture references. in order to get over as a character. Now, we just saw him in Spider-Man Homecoming as an awesome hero. He had an awesome villain, and it's very memorable, that movie is, to the general audience. So why would you hinder his character and turn him into the pop culture reference guy that relies on those references to be funny? It's unimpressive to me because I'm a Spider-Man fan and I didn't like that. To be honest, that's not him. He's 15 years old and he's referencing Alien that came out in like 1979, 1983, the second one. And then he's also making references to Footloose. Whereas if you're a 20-year-old, 25-year-old, yeah, you're probably knowledgeable in Alien maybe, but your 20-year-old girl, you're not gonna know what Alien is or Aliens probably. Or if you're a 15-year-old kid, you're not gonna know what Footloose is. You know of High School Musical, that's about it. When it comes to musicals, maybe Grease. So at this point, Thanos has some of the gems, but he's looking for the Soul Gem, and he knows who's got it. Nebula snuck on board stupidly and exposed the information that Gamora had given to her, that Gamora knew where the Soul Gem was. So Gamora led Thanos right to where she wanted to go. Otherwise, Thanos would have continued to torture Nebula, which is actually a good little paying homage to the comics, where Thanos literally tortures Nebula in a mindless way. Crazy.
The entire time I knew him, he only ever had one goal. To wipe out half the universe. If he gets all the Infinity Stones, he can do it with the snap of his fingers. Just like that. He won't.
Crazy enough, Thanos actually throws Gamora off of a ledge in order to obtain the Soul Gem. And this actually hurts him a lot. And we get our most character development of any character in this actual scene, where Thanos has to decide his daughter or the balance of the universe, which is more important. And he takes the individual sacrifice of his daughter in order to balance out the universe. Now at this point, we really need relation to the villain Thanos because we don't understand his motivation. If his sole purpose is to balance out the universe, why? After obtaining the Soul Gem, Thanos goes to obtain Time Gem from Doctor Strange and goes to Titan and gets actually flanked by Star-Lord and the Guardians of the Galaxy, as well as Spider-Man. And it's a very cringy scene because Star-Lord realizes Gamora is gone and he punches Thanos in the face. But it's like, it reminded me of OJ when he was trying to put the glove on, but he was like, it don't fit. It forever. It's like, either you're gonna put it on or you're not. Or either you're gonna take it off or you're not. And they played that scene out for way too long. He should have just had the epiphany almost immediately. Once he gets out of there, he heads back to Africa to take the Mind Gem from Vision, and swoop on it he does. This scene was annoying because all the heroes were running at Thanos one at a time, but it was kind of cool to see him try and then get deleted, you know. The worst part about the whole Vision build is that it doesn't pay off anyways. Thanos has the Time Gem, and they know this. Or at least they should know this because they know he has 5 out of the 6 gems. They say one of them's the Time Gem. Go back in time. It's like, right as Scarlet Witch kills Vision, I'm thinking to myself, it doesn't matter, he's got the Time Gem. And of course, boom, it plays the Time Gem. In the end, I thought this was an okay movie. I'd recommend it for somebody who pays attention to the Marvel Universe. I wouldn't recommend it to somebody who just watches the movies casually. That being said, I give it a 6.5 out of 10. It's pretty good. It's okay. Here's my reasons why. The movie was a very good popcorn munching movie. So we'll start it at a 10 and work our way down. So it loses a point in my opinion because of the Spider-Man references. They don't need to make jokes about other movies. If you want to be a successful movie, you don't need to rely on others. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Ready Player One. You don't need to rely on other movies to be successful. Another gripe I had with the movie is that there was really no character development of characters that I cared about. And we got a lot of character development with Thanos, but he's the villain, so we shouldn't be relating to him as much. Maybe a little bit, but not as much, only to really his motivations. The last point and a half that I'm deducting actually comes from a storytelling device called Deus Ex Machina. Now, in this particular storytelling device, it's where a character comes out of nowhere to save the day. It's literally translated from God saving from above. So it's basically when one character comes to protect another character and you had no idea they were going to come out of nowhere. It's like, oh, it's another hero. Cool. I bring this up because the movie had so many points like that where Deus Ex Machina would come down to save the day, where it got tiring. So tiring. Where in the end, I was almost cheering for Thanos to snap his fingers away and for me to actually care about some of these characters dying. Because to be honest, I didn't. A lot of this was a built up annoyance too, because how many times did they say snap your fingers? Did they foreshadow that? It's like Luke Skywalker saying, well, you know, we shouldn't be stopping our rebel forces because they're probably building another Death Star. And then they do a hard cut to the Death Star being rebuilt at the end of the 5th one. Like, come on. It's too much of a dead giveaway. Oh yeah, he can snap away half the galaxy. That's your whole plot point. Why are you giving that away with subtle dialogue? And to do it once, okay. They did that in Thor Ragnarok. I'm pretty sure, if not Thor Ragnarok and Black Panther, they mentioned that, the snapping of the finger thing. So we get it 2 more references in this movie before it actually happens. Kind of takes away from it actually happening. So overall, I do like this movie, and I recommend you go check it out. Now, I want to take a second to thank the subscribers, the new ones that have added us to the channel. Couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much. And if you have a second, subscribe, and I'll shout you out. That being said, my name's Connor from Always Nerdy TV. Thanks again, and have a great goddamn day.